CJ Flyer back with another YouTube video. So Caitlin Clark has had an outstanding, unprecedented final season at the University of Iowa. She now holds the all-time scoring record for Division I college basketball athletes, beating out some familiar names such as Kelsey Plum and Pete Maravich. She's the consensus #1 draft pick going into this 2024 WNBA draft. So I've taken it upon myself to go into the My WNBA mode in NBA 2K24. We've put in the draft class that includes Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Cameron Brink. And we're going to go ahead and simulate the career of Caitlin Clark. Now, because there is not a start today feature in the My WNBA mode, I actually had to simulate through the entire 2023 WNBA season and then manually go through and trade all of the draft picks in the first round so that they're in the correct order, with of course none other than Indiana Fever having the #1 overall pick and the most likely to take Caitlin Clark in the first round of the 2024 draft. Now, I only made sure that the first round was in the right order, didn't really bother with the second or third round because we're really only focused on Caitlin Clark, and it's pretty much widely assumed that she's going to be going to Indiana. All right, and with the first pick of the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever are going to select, there you have it, Caitlin Clark from the University of Iowa. And then of course, Angel Reese going #2 to the LA Sparks. And Haley Van Lith is actually also in this draft class that I downloaded, and she's going to be teammates with Angel Reese once again here in LA. All right, A'ja Wilson once again winning the MVP award, and there you go, Caitlin Clark winning Rookie of the Year with Indiana. She scored 11 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Shooting only 38.8% from 3. That's a little bit surprising, given her natural ability to make some crazy threes from deep. And of course, also making the all-rookie team, along with Angel Reese, Diamond Johnson, Haley Van Lith, and Haley Jones. And the Fever surprisingly actually made it into the WNBA playoffs as the 7th seed. They're going up against the Atlanta Dream. We'll go ahead and start simulating this. Of course, the first round in the WNBA playoffs is a best of 3. So winning that game right there on the road, that is huge for the Fever. Okay, so the Dream take game 2. So far the Dream are up big, but the Fever coming right back. It's a tight game, neck and neck. The Dream have roughly a 9-point lead here late in the 4th quarter, down to a 4-point game with a 1.5 minutes left. Okay, let's see. Is Caitlin even in the game right now? I don't see her anywhere. Oh, there you go. There she is right now. She's making her way off of the bench. She's going to be going into the game here. All right, let's see if Indiana can get a bucket before Caitlin gets subbed back in. There we go. Pick and roll time. Less than 10 seconds. Ooh, a pull-up 3, and it's money. Okay, here comes Atlanta. What are they going to do here? Looks like they're running ISO ball on the left wing, passing it down into the post. There is a huge size mismatch, and the Dream go back up by 3. No timeouts by Indiana. They have 2 of them. I'm surprised they're not even taking one right now, but they're choosing not to put their star player back into the game. They're just going to keep rolling with what they got out there. Getting another open 3, missing that one though. Oh, Atlanta, wide open 3, and they're going to go up 6. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Fever coach is doing, not calling that timeout to get Caitlin Clark in the game sooner. Okay, she's finally checked in. Coming up to the top of the key, around a couple screens. They're still not inbounding the ball, finally, and she passes it right back off. They're trying to run a play here for Skies, who's been taking the last couple shots. Caitlin Clark trying to get open on some kind of an off-ball screen, but not really getting any room. She takes the contested look. Oh my goodness, she made that. Unbelievable. She made the 3 with a hand right in her face. Of course, the Fever are going to have to foul now. Okay, the Dream at the free throw line. First one is up and in. They're going to go up by 4 points here. So the Fever, they're going to need at least a couple more 3s to even have a chance at this one. 10.8 seconds left. The Fever have no timeouts. Caitlin Clark taking the ball up the court. She's going to pass it off to Hull. Get the ball right back. Pull up from the left wing and miss that one. So it looks like the Dream are going to come back from the 0-1 deficit and win the series 2-1. Again, this is Caitlin Clark's rookie season, so the fact that they even made the playoffs is impressive as she scores 17 points, getting 11 boards in this one, 1 assist and 1 block, shooting 6 of 15 from the field in this Game 3. And the Las Vegas Aces once again winning another championship against the Liberty, with A'ja Wilson getting Finals MVP. All right, and going into her second WNBA season, Caitlin Clark is now an 88 overall, the highest rated player on her team. Another season, another Aces player winning the MVP, although this time it is Alyssa Thomas. It is not Asia Wilson. Paige Beckers now is in the league with the Connecticut Sun. That's very fitting considering she played at UConn for the past few years, and she wins Rookie of the Year. Courtney Williams getting 6th Woman of the Year for the Aces. Asia Wilson, the reason she did not win MVP with the Aces is because she's not on the Aces anymore. She went over to the Liberty, pulling the reverse KD, going to the team that you beat, and she won Defensive Player of the Year for the Liberty. Caitlin Clark able to get on the All-WNBA first team, progressing now to an 89 overall. She's also on the All-Defensive first team. I know I forgot to show it the first season, but honestly it's just because I wasn't expecting much from the Fever. But here we are, the final standings. The Fever finished 4th with 26 wins and 14 losses. And Caitlin Clark averaged a team-high 18.5 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, 2.9 assists, a steal, half a block. And this time her three-point percentage is now up to a 46%. And in round 1, they're going up against none other than the Minnesota Lynx. And end up taking game 1, and let's see what they do here. Losing game 2, so we're going right back into a game 3 elimination game here. This time we're in Indiana, and so far Minnesota has a pretty good sizable lead, or at least they've been holding the lead all game. It has not gone back and forth, and now they are starting to pull away, and sure enough, they end up beating the Fever 89-83. Caitlin Clark with the team high scoring of 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. Shooting 2 of 4 from 3. A little bit disappointing that once again her team is not able to make it out of the first round, but it is still early in her WNBA career. And this time it's the Atlanta Dream taking the win, with Iowa Boston getting the Finals MVP up against the Aces. Season number 3 for Caitlin Clark. She's now up to an 89 overall with a 98 3-point rating. Unfortunately, the rest of the team really hasn't improved that much. Kind of sad to see, especially because you would think you'd want to build a strong core around Caitlin Clark. But so far, no dice, and she's going to continue to struggle to get some wins here potentially. But let's see what happens. Asia Wilson adding another MVP to her accolades and another Defensive Player of the Year. Caitlin Clark this season falling to the All-WNBA second team, still on the All-WNBA defensive first team. Indiana once again finishing with the 4th seed with 23 wins and 17 losses. And another team high in scoring for Caitlin Clark this season with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and half a block. Again, her 3-point percentage, it's around a 43%, so still pretty solid. And the Fever are going up against the Dallas Wings in round 1. The Fever winning game 1. Can they finally get past a 1-0 lead and not blow it? And there you go. They end up winning 2-0, moving on to the second round. They're going to play the winner of this Dream and Sparks series. And it looks like they're going to be going up against the defending champion Atlanta Dream, who still have Ryan Howard, and they also have Iowa Boston. Okay, starting off the semifinals, Atlanta winning game 1, Indiana winning game 2. This is a best of 5, by the way. Indiana up 2-1. And let's see, a 2-2 series, so it's going down to the final game. A familiar situation for Caitlin Clark and this Fever team. And so far to start the game, they are up 10-2 here. They have a nice, decent lead in this first quarter. And then going into the second quarter, still have a little bit of a lead back and forth. The Dream starting to take over here. And now with less than 2 minutes in the game, the Dream have a 6-point lead. Let's go right into this. Okay, Dream with the ball. This is a very familiar situation for Caitlin Clark as it was 2 seasons ago in the first round. The Dream losing their dribble here. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Iowa Boston with the ball, passing it out. They got a shot in the left wing wide open. Oh my goodness, that is not what you want to see. If you are a fan of Caitlin Clark, here she is bringing the ball down, getting the screen, driving right around to the hoop, pull up mid-range. That's money. Okay, it's looking pretty hopeless at this point. They're still down 7 with 20 seconds in the quarter. I'm not really sure why they're not fouling at this point. I mean, logic would have it that you would foul to even have a chance. I think they gave up. Yeah, they gave up. They gave up. Caitlin Clark with 16 points and 7 rebounds in this one, shooting 50% from the field. And the Dream winning the finals once again. Iowa Boston, another finals MVP for her. Entering season number 4, and Caitlin Clark is still an 89 overall. And not only that, but she's losing all of her good quality teammates. She is the only player on this roster that is higher than an 80 overall. Indiana letting her down. She's got a 99 3-point rating. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right? You actually cannot get better than a 99 3-point rating. What is Indiana doing? They are not building a team around her. It is very disappointing and ruining her chances at winning any kind of accolades besides first team or second team all WNBA at this point. Aaliyah Boston's winning the MVP this season. A'ja Wilson just keeps on adding Defensive Player of the Year awards to her resume. And Caitlin Clark back on the all WNBA first team, as well as being on the all defensive first team. And it looks like at some point in the season they did acquire another high quality player in Shakira Austin, who unfortunately is out for the season with a broken thigh. Nonetheless, the Fever are now the second best team in the WNBA with 27 wins and 13 losses. The Aces have finally fallen off that pedestal that they were sitting on. They're no longer the unanimous #1 team in the league. And speaking of which, the Indiana Fever are going to be facing them in the first round. Before we get to that, of course, Caitlin Clark, the leading scorer for the team once again with 17 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and shooting none other than 40.9% from 3. Indiana taking game 1 in round 1, losing game 2. The second game will, of course, be in Indiana. My apologies, the third game is what I meant to say. Third game will now be in Indiana. It is a close one so far. The Fever have now gained the lead. Here in the fourth quarter, they're up by double digits, and they are going to go ahead and run away with this one, winning 89-69 to move on to the conference finals against the Chicago Sky. We'll go ahead and start simulating. Indiana wins game 1, loses game 2. This is a best of 5, up 2-1 now. Now tied 2-2. It seems like all of these series end up being a tie going into an elimination game as Indiana starts off this one with a small lead. The Sky start to pull away here in the fourth quarter. My goodness, they're up by 28 right now, and they're going to end up winning this one 88-57. That is not what you want to see. Caitlin Clark, 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Ugh, that is not a good look. And the Sky end up winning the WNBA Finals. Jackie Young with the Finals MVP. All right, Caitlin Clark still needs some help on this team. She's now up to a 90 overall. Her three-point rating still a 99. Her mid-range a 97. Breanna Stewart no longer on the New York Liberty. She's now on the Minnesota Lynx. She wins the MVP award. A'ja Wilson, another Defensive Player of the Year. Caitlin Clark on the All-WNBA second team and All-Defensive first team, which was enough to propel the Indiana Fever to the #1 seed in the league with 29 wins and 11 losses. Clark didn't score as much as she usually has been in the past few seasons, but nonetheless still getting 14 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and shooting 43.8% from 3. And before I forget to mention, you might notice that a lot of the scoring is down for a lot of these players compared to the NBA, and the reason for that is partly due to the fact that they are playing 10-minute quarters as opposed to 12-minute quarters. All right, versus a familiar foe, the Atlanta Dream in round 1, Indiana winning game 1 and winning game 2 to move on to the conference finals. They'll be matched up against Phoenix, who has Aaliyah Boston, formerly with the Atlanta Dream. Indiana's going to go ahead and take game 1, take game 2. They are just cruising right through. Haven't lost a game yet as they are making it into the WNBA Finals versus the Minnesota Lynx and the MVP, Breanna Stewart. So go ahead and start simulating. The Lynx winning game 1, Fever winning game 2. A little bit of back and forth. Fever up 2-1. And the Indiana Fever have won the WNBA Finals. Caitlin Clark, the Finals MVP, getting 21.7 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, a block, shooting 51% from the field, 50% from 3, and 96% from the free throw line. That is what you like to see. And after winning the WNBA Finals with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark has had enough of the general manager who has refused to surround her with talent on this team, and she has taken her talents to none other than the familiar foe, the Atlanta Dream, and she is pairing up with A'ja Wilson on this team, the winner of consecutive Defensive Player of the Year awards. This is actually unbelievable. So they formed a big three. It's A'ja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, and Shakira Austin all on the same team. A'ja Wilson wins the MVP award, also winning Defensive Player of the Year. Both A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark getting on the All-WNBA first team, as well as getting on the All-Defensive first team. In fact, the entire big three of Atlanta getting on the All-Defensive first team. To no one's surprise, the Atlanta Dream getting the #1 seed in the league. A'ja Wilson ended up being the leading scorer with nearly 20 points per game. Caitlin Clark right below her with her 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and a steal, and shooting 41.9% from three. Up against Phoenix in round 1, and oh my goodness, Atlanta actually loses. I can't believe it. No way, hold up. Okay, Atlanta wins game 2. We're going into game 3 here in Atlanta. And so far, the Mercury have a lead, but Atlanta started to take it back in the second quarter, trying to pull away, and they end up winning 93-89 to go on to the conference finals against Connecticut. Connecticut, of course, still has Paige Beckers on their team. The Dream winning game 1, winning game 2. Can they make it 3-0? And sure enough, they have to go on to the WNBA finals against the LA Sparks, who have Sabrina and Brianna Stewart and Kelsey Plum. Man, they have a solid team lined up here. The Dream taking game 1 in this series, taking game 2, looking to sweep, and sure enough, they do it, winning the WNBA Finals. A'ja Wilson getting the Finals MVP with a incredible stat line of 27.7 points per game and 10 rebounds. Shooting, oh my goodness, 62% from 3. Are you kidding me? And if we take a look at the playoff statistics, Caitlin Clark ended up averaging a little bit more points per game than the regular season with 16 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and shooting 45% from 3. Caitlin Clark entering her 7th WNBA season. She is still on the Atlanta Dream at a 90 overall and still chilling out with a 99-3 and a 98 mid-range shot. A'ja Wilson at a 97. They still got their big three, looking like they're ready for a repeat. A'ja Wilson getting the MVP award and the Defensive Player of the Year award once again. And this time, Caitlin Clark is on the All-WNBA second team with her 2 big three teammates getting on the All-WNBA first team. And then on the All-Defensive first team, it's all 3 of them, A'ja Wilson, Shakira Austin, and Caitlin Clark, finishing with the first seed in the league once again. Caitlin Clark averaging 12.5 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and shooting 41.5% from 3. Going up against Seattle in round 1, Atlanta taking the first one and going ahead to take the second one to sweep the round 1 series, going into the conference finals against Dallas. All right, Atlanta's taking game 1, look, taking game 2. I think they're going to sweep it again. There you go. They're going up against the LA Sparks, and LA still has Sabrina, still has Brianna, still has Kelsey Plum. They still got their big 3, big 4, whatever you want to call it, down in LA. We're going to go ahead and start simulating the Dream, winning game 1, winning game 2. Man, they're just making it look easy. A'ja Wilson with another Finals MVP. And Caitlin Clark actually ended up with a season-ending injury, a strained right hip at some point during the playoffs, but their team was still able to pull it out. She averaged 15 points per game while she was able to play, shooting 45% from 3. Going into Caitlin Clark's 8th season, it looks like her teammate A'ja Wilson is starting to decline a bit, going down from a 97 to a 95. Nonetheless, Caitlin Clark still hanging around at a 90 overall with a 99.3 and a 98 mid-range jump shot. They still have their big 3 locked down, looking to go for the three-peat. A'ja Wilson taking the MVP award and the Defensive Player of the Year award once again. And Caitlin Clark and her teammate Shakira Austin on the All-WNBA second team, of course. A'ja Wilson on the All-WNBA first team. And as for the defensive first team, it's Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson on the first one, and then her teammate Shakira on the all-defensive second team. Do I even need to show it? The Atlanta Dream once again getting the 1 seed in the league with the LA Sparks getting the 2 seed. The likely matchup to happen once again in the WNBA Finals. Caitlin Clark averaging 13 points per game, 7 boards, 4 assists, a steal, and let's see what she's shooting from 3 is 45%, 48% from the field. Going up against Dallas in round 1, winning the first game, and let's see, winning the second game here. Going up against the New York Liberty in the conference finals. The Atlanta Dream winning game 1, winning game 2. Over on the other side of the bracket, you can see that LA got swept by the Chicago Sky, who have Jackie Young. And honestly, besides that, I don't really recognize any of these players. Oh, I guess Brooke Patrick. Brooke Patrick, I believe, is an auto-generated player. All right, and the Sky take game 1 in the series, taking game 2. Unbelievable. The Dream looking to make a comeback. We're going to go into Simcast now and start simulating this one. A little bit of back and forth action in the first quarter and into the second half. The Dream starting to take a little bit of a double-digit lead here, and sure enough, they're going to win 86-67 to go into the elimination game against Chicago. Let's see what they can get done. A little bit of back and forth action once again, going through the entire first half that way into the fourth quarter now. Atlanta up by 12 with 2 minutes to go. It's looking all but over. They're gonna make the comeback of the 0-2 deficit and win the WNBA Finals. A'ja Wilson getting the Finals MVP. She only averaged 14 points per game in this series. And Caitlin Clark was averaging right around that 12 to 15 points per game range. However, in game 4 of this final series, she did score 25 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3, with 7 boards, 5 assists, and 2 steals. So a great job by the Atlanta Dream getting the three-peat right there. And going into the next season, still keeping that core 3, the big 3 together here in Atlanta. And once again, Caitlin Clark still rocking the 99 3-point rating at 90 overall. A'ja Wilson did not decline. She's now 35 years old. This is her 14th year pro. This is Caitlin Clark's 8th year pro. We got a little bit of trouble here. A'ja Wilson did not win the MVP this season. She also did not get Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be Brooke Patrick, the generated player from the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark getting on the All-WNBA second team and the All-Defensive first team. And despite the fact that the Dream still got the 1 seed in the league, only 2 games back, the Chicago Sky at 30 wins and 10 losses. And Caitlin Clark scoring 13 points per game, 7 boards. She's getting a few more assists now, 5 assists per game this season, shooting 44% from 3. Going against Minnesota in round 1, they're going to win game 1. And then go ahead and take the second game to move on to the conference finals versus Seattle. Seattle adding Breanna Stewart back to their roster. She is now 16 years pro at 38 years old. Atlanta is going to go ahead, take game 1, take game 2, and they are going to go through and sweep the series and get the rematch against the Chicago Sky. A little bit nervous about this one. Chicago's definitely coming around here. But Atlanta did take game 1, did take game 2. They lost game 3, and they end up winning the series in 4 games. A'ja Wilson getting the Finals MVP. Caitlin Clark, not a lot to write home about in this playoff run. She only shot 37% from 3. I mean, she didn't have a great playoffs this year, but nonetheless, her team still won, and she still contributed. And finally, the big 3 in Atlanta is no longer. Caitlin Clark is the first of the big 3 to leave, leaving A'ja Wilson and Shakira Austin all alone. So now Caitlin Clark decides she wants to be the new star of her own team, taking her talents to the LA Sparks. She's pairing up with Michaela Flowers. And her 3-point rating has now dropped from a 99 to a 98. The decline has started, ladies and gentlemen. She's 31 years old. No MVPs for Caitlin Clark or A'ja Wilson this season. Same with the Defensive Player of the Year award. And Caitlin Clark not getting on the All-WNBA first team or second team. She is on the All-Defensive first team. And the Sparks were awful. I mean, they were just bad. Look at this. 16 wins, 24 losses. Missing the playoffs by 1 game back. The top 8 get to go into the playoff bracket. So just missing out. And then, of course, looking at the stats. Let's see how she did now that she's kind of on her own. And not great at all. Her scoring starting to decline, 10.9 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists with a steal, and 38% shooting from 3. That is not what you want to see. And look at that, the Indiana Fever are going to win the WNBA Finals. Sabrina's on the team now. She's getting the Finals MVP. Caitlin Clark now going into her 11th WNBA season. She's got a 98 3-point shot, 96 mid-range, and 87 overall. And once again, her only accolade at the end of the season, getting on the all-defensive first team. And once again, LA is just bad. Look, not making the playoffs. Once again, where are they even at right here? Fallen to 9th, 3 games back from making it into the playoffs. And if we go ahead and look at her stats, I can't imagine that they're very good because she has been falling off like crazy recently. Yeah, she couldn't even get 10 points per game. And she is shooting, but she shot really well from 3, 47.5% from 3. Chicago Sky winning the WNBA Finals against the Indiana Fever. And now some familiar names are starting to retire. Kelsey Blum finishing her career with the Washington Mystics. Haley Van Lith. Caitlin Clark going into the next season, still on the LA Sparks, still the top-rated player on the team with an 86 overall, 96 from 3. Come on, can the LA Sparks finally make the playoffs? They have more wins than losses for once. Uh-oh, did I speak too soon? They're making a comeback in the loss column. And it's close, and they still managed to pull away. Caitlin Clark not getting any end-of-season rewards or awards there. And, well, she was able to get all defensive first team once again. And then there is Asia Wilson, who is now on the Connecticut Sun, also getting all defensive first team. The LA Sparks are going to be in the 5th seed going up against the Phoenix Mercury in round 1. Of course, looking at the season stats, Caitlin Clark, nothing very impressive anymore. She just missed the mark again on 10 points per game. However, on her shooting, 42% from 3, that is not too shabby at all. We'll go ahead and start simulating. Phoenix wins game 1, LA wins game 2. Going into game 3, let's see who can get it done. So far to start off the game, Phoenix is taking a huge double-digit lead. However, LA trying to bring it back in, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. The Minnesota Lynx and Lexi Wall are going to win the WNBA Finals. Breanna Stewart finally retiring at 41 years old. And Caitlin Clark going into her 13th WNBA season at 34 years old. She's fallen to an 83 overall with a 93 three-point rating. And she's not on a roster. Not on a roster at all. She's a free agent. So we're going to start simulating, and we'll see if she gets signed like within the first couple weeks. And if nothing happens, then we're just going to keep going. She might be done. She might be done. She might be retiring. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, we're a month in. She still hasn't been signed. So we're just going to simulate to the end of the season here. And yeah, that might be it for Caitlin Clark. We are at the end of the season. No awards won. Relations, she's upset. Yeah, I'd be upset too. I mean, you just came off back to back, all defensive first teams, and now you're not even getting signed, and you're still an 83 overall, and you can still contribute, and you still got a 93 three-point rating and a 96 free throw. I mean, I'm pretty surprised she did not get signed. We're gonna go ahead and simulate the playoffs. It's the Sky winning it against the Sparks. And Caitlin Clark's not retiring. She has not given up getting on a roster yet. She is still going to try her best to get on a roster. And yeah, we're going into her next season and still not getting signed. She's now an 80 overall. Just for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and actually have her signed to the Connecticut Sun. They have the best roster in the league. So we're going to go ring chasing. Caitlin Clark is going ring chasing. She's going to get signed on a discount deal. Paige Becker's also a free agent, so we're going to sign her as well. All right, we're going to sign her to a multi-year deal just because we can. So let's go ahead and get her on the roster. Paige Becker's, let's go ahead and get you on this roster as well for a multi-year deal. There you go. They got plenty of cap space. I don't know why they wouldn't sign these players. Heck, look at this. We got Brooke Patrick, who's a former MVP, 91 overall. We got Brittany Nicholson. Why are these players not getting signed? 91, 90 overall? And I mean, like, hold up. It's just because you can't, you have too many players on the roster? Is that the problem? Like, look at this. If I go into the roster here and let's just drop the last player. This might just be a flaw with the My WNBA mode. I don't plan on doing a lot of these career simulations, so I'm just testing things out right now just for the sake of testing things out. But let's just see. Do we have enough dough to sign? Look at this. Yeah, we kind of do. Are you kidding me? Why would a team not do that? Why would a team not do that? That doesn't even make sense. Why would you not sign the former MVP if you have the financial means and no one else is going for the player. I mean, what the heck? All right, so now this roster is way too stacked. This is basically Las Vegas Aces 2.0 in Connecticut this time. Run it back. We got Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark signing on for what's likely to be the remainder of their career. So Caitlin Clark took an off year after being dropped by the LA Sparks. And so now we'll go ahead and simulate the season. I don't expect her to get more than like 5 points per game at this point. And Caitlin Clark is not getting on any recognitions. No recognitions for her. No all WNBA or all defensive teams. I'm not even sure I really need to show this, but of course the Connecticut Sun getting the 1 seed in the league. And then if we go ahead to the stats, just curious to see how she did. I'm not really expecting a whole lot. And sure enough, there you go. 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 43% from 3. That's still pretty solid. But yeah, of course, she didn't really start that many games. The fact that she even started 2 of them is a lot more than I would have expected, that's for sure. So we'll go ahead. We'll just start simulating the playoffs. We're just going to go right through with this. We're not going to stop along the way at all. And there you go. The Connecticut Sun, despite putting together a powerhouse of a team, fall short and lose in the elimination game against the Minnesota Lynx. So they're going to have to run it back. They're going to have to go back. Asia Wilson and Sabrina are retiring. And Asia Wilson got her jersey retired by 3 different teams. Who else besides maybe LeBron James would ever have something like that happen to them in professional basketball? And okay, I just have to mention this too. You know, these league rules, I've been trying to reject them every time we come up to this. Increase the shot clock to 45 seconds. Are you kidding me? I mean, the games are going to be like, the scores will be like 20-2. I mean, what? All right, Caitlin Clark starting to really fall off. She's now a 77 overall at 36 years old, and her three-point rating is no longer a 90. Connecticut misses out on the 1st seed in the league. Minnesota, the defending champs, are going to get that honor. And then looking at the stats, let's see if she even cracked 5 points per game. Let's see. What do we got? Uh-oh, hold up. Hold up. Where are we? Oh, I'm doing per 100 possessions. We don't want that. We want the per game stats. There you go. Ooh, Caitlin Clark, 7.6 points per game. Started 18 games. All right. Someone must have left the roster, I'd imagine. 45% from 3. That's a very good stat right there. And they're going up against the Las Vegas Aces in round 1. Gonna win game 1. Gonna go ahead win game 2. Let's go ahead keep simulating this. Let's just simulate it all the way through. No need to go slow here. They're gonna make it to the finals and lose in 5 again. That is not what you want to see if you are a Caitlin Clark fan. And there you go. Caitlin Clark, she had 1 year left on her contract, and she wants to hang it up. But you know what? This team's gotten so close 2 times in a row. We got to give her that last ring. So we're going to overturn her decision. She's going to go through 1 more time. And this roster at this point's a shell of its former self. But knowing the illogical logic, does that make any sense? Knowing the fact that the logic just doesn't make sense. How about that? Look at this. Why is this quality of a player available on the free agent market? That doesn't make any sense. I know this is supposed to be a simulation. Okay, fine. Connecticut cannot sign her. All right, well, I probably should have just let Caitlin Clark retire then, because let's be honest, this is not going to go over well. In fact, let's go ahead. We're going to simulate, and then we're going to let Caitlin Clark ring chase. We're going to get to the trade deadline. We're going to stop this here. The number 1 team is Minnesota, but we don't want Caitlin to go to Minnesota. We want revenge against Minnesota, so we're going to trade Caitlin Clark to the New York Liberty for her final season here in the WNBA. And there you have it. Caitlin Clark now on the New York Liberty. They have a decent team. Do they have a chance at beating Minnesota? We'll see. And yeah, sure enough, they lost that 2 regular season games they had against Minnesota. They lost. So far, it's not looking very good. And they do have the 2 seed in the league still. So we'll go ahead and start simulating. They lose game 1 to LA. Win game 2. And did they move on? No, they did not. Okay, well, there you go. Caitlin Clark's attempt to ring chase has failed. And the LA Sparks are the team that she should have gone to. as they sweep the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA Finals. And Caitlin Clark changed her mind. She doesn't want to retire. I've never seen that before, actually. Wow. So her former teammate, Shakira Austin, who was on the Minnesota Lynx, she decided to retire at 39 years old. And yeah, Caitlin Clark is still playing. Aaliyah Boston also retired. And let's go ahead now and let's see if we can find Caitlin Clark. Where is she at? She's got to be down here somewhere. Okay, we're going to have her sign with the Washington Mystics. She's a 72 overall, and as you can see, the top-rated players, the superstars on this team, a shooting guard, a center, and then the next rated player is another center. So there's actually a decent chance that she'll get some playing time and actually contribute on this team. A team that could potentially win the WNBA Finals. And the Washington Mystics end up getting the 1 seed in the league. They're going up against the Las Vegas Aces in round 1. Oh my goodness, please no. Please no. Thank you. Okay, here we go. We're going into round 2. I haven't even looked at the regular season stats. We don't care. We're just here for the rings at this point. Let's go ahead and we're simulating here in the second half. The Mystics have a double-digit lead. They're going to win this one by 23. We'll go ahead into the conference finals now. Start simulating. Mystics win game 1, lose game 2. It's a best of 5. They're up 2-1. And we're going back into an elimination game once again. Washington with the early lead in this one. Now back to the Storm. It is a little bit of back and forth here. We're going into the fourth quarter. It's kind of close. It's kind of close. The ring chasing is not looking oh my goodness. Okay, they're gonna, oh my goodness, they won. The Storm missed a free throw. And the Mystics are going to the WNBA Finals against the Lynx. That's exactly what we wanted. Perfect. All right, Lynx win game 1. Mystics win game 2. Lynx win game 3. And Caitlin Clark's attempt at ring chasing has failed. And she will finally retire after 16 years pro at age 39 years old. And of course, she will be inducted into the WNBA Hall of Fame for her career. She averaged 11.6 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. That scoring is probably lowered a bit by the fact that her last few seasons, she didn't contribute a whole lot. Let's just say that. She got an All-Star 13 of her 16 seasons. She got 5 championships, 1 Finals MVP, 3 All-WNBA first teams, 5 All-WNBA second teams, 3 All-WNBA. There's a third team? They never showed the third team. We could only see the top 2 teams, but I guess at some point she won 3 All-WNBA third teams, 12 All-Defensive first teams, her Rookie of the Year, of course, and All-Rookie first team. The one disappointing part of all of this, though, of course, no MVP awards, really mostly because during her peak, she was paired up with A'ja Wilson, so of course she wasn't going to have a chance to break out and win the MVP award. However, it did lead to her being a 5-time WNBA champion. Her career high was only 36 points in a game. That's lower than her all-time high in college. She also only recorded 6 3-pointers made in one game. Are you kidding me? With a 99-3? Really? Were the tendencies not set right? I mean, wow. That is unbelievable that she only attempted 11 threes in a game with that high of a 3-point rating. But, nonetheless, she didn't really need to, I guess, when she was out there three-peating with the Atlanta Dream. So Caitlin Clark in this simulation not getting on the leaderboard for 3-pointers made in the league. The leader of that one is in 2028 with 10 3-pointers made. And then another generated player here, that MVP Brittany Nicholson, also with 10 3-pointers made in 2037. A bit surprising, to be quite honest. I think she's gonna break this record in real life. Caitlin Clark not even in the 3-pointers made in a season leaderboard in the top 10. Heck, not even really. Like, there's some players here I'm surprised that are not here, but then again, a lot of these records seems like from 2029 and beyond got broken. So no Sabrina, no Paige Beckers, no one in there. She finished 13th all-time on the leaderboard for three-pointers made in a career with 996, 4 short of 1,000. Man, I feel like if you were that close to getting 1,000 threes for your career, you're going to play like an extra 2 weeks just to get that record. So she falls just short of the likes of Kelsey Plum, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina, Brittany Nicholson, this randomly generated player, and then Brooke Patrick, of course, too, that other MVP level talent that was out there balling. So yeah, Caitlin Clark finishing 13th in the WNBA at the end of her career. And as for assists, surprisingly, because it felt like with her season to season stats, she was doing well in points and rebounds, and in assists, she was ranging from like 2 to 5 assists per game, but still, Caitlin Clark getting 11th for her career in assists, getting 1,960 assists across her 16 seasons, just behind Candace Parker and Chelsea Gray. And of course, with those all defensive first teams, that Caitlin Clark would be up there, and sure enough, she finished 17th for number of steals in her career with 583. Looking at blocks, not expecting quite as much because, again, most of her defensive plays were steals. However, she did finish 50th all-time in blocks for her career with 260. And despite not ranking very high in a lot of stats, she actually ranks in the top 10 in minutes in her career with 15,852, just above Kelsey Plum. Some other interesting stats: Caitlin Clark for the Atlanta Dream, getting second for most assists in a season. And there you go. That's the career of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, the simulation. Do you guys think that's right around where she's going to be? She's not quite like an all-time talent. She did get into the WNBA Hall of Fame. Mostly I would say for getting all of those all-defensive first-team appearances as well as the 5 championships. But do we think she's going to do more? I think in this simulation the three-pointers are a little bit short from what I expected. However, I'm really impressed by the defensive accolades. Was not really expecting that. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and click on the screen here for another career simulation video.